Welcome back to Passionately Catholic. Today what we're going to be taking a look at is temptation and inspiration. Now a lot of the time we tend to focus just on temptation, which obviously is, we feel this desire, this attraction to do something that's wrong, to sin, right? It's part of original sin, and when we experience baptism and original sin gets wiped away, we're still left with this tendency to sin that's known as concupiscence, also known as like the inclination to sin. Okay, concupiscence is like this desire to do the wrong thing. Like we think that the doing evil is going to make us happy. So we experience all these, temptations to do evil things. But I think so often what we don't pay very much attention to is inspirations, which I would kind of describe as like the opposite of temptations. So often we're so worried about, oh, I don't want to fall into temptation, or how do we deal with this temptation? But when we focus on the negative all the time, we miss out on all of the positive inspirations that God, the Holy Spirit, possibly even our guardian angel and saints are sharing with us in our life, or even inspirations that even come from our own mind. And I feel like, this is a great thing I should do. And tied in with this, there's two different kinds of sins. There's sins of commission and sins of omission that the Catechism talks about. So a sin of commission is the kind of sin we almost always talk about. Sins of commission are sins that we commit, where we do something wrong, we do something evil that we should not do. But there are also sins of omission, where we fail to do something good that we really ought to do. One of these would be like the third commandment, keeping holy the Sabbath day, keeping holy the Lord's day, and going to church. If we miss Mass intentionally, that would be a sin. That would be a sin of omission. So when we're talking about the realm of temptations versus inspirations, what we need to be focused on is not just the temptations and overcoming the temptations in our life, but also how well am I responding to the inspirations that the Lord is sending to me? What are the good things that God is calling me to do? Maybe even to go above and beyond everything else that I'm doing right now. What is God really calling me to do in my life? To be selfless, to be generous, to be what the saints, what we look for in the saints is heroic virtue. What is God looking for from me? What is God calling me to? What is He asking of me that, no, I'm not absolutely required to do this, but what would be a way that I can go above and beyond? And what inspirations are being shared with me to do that? I mean, imagine a relationship with God like any other kind of relationship. Say even a romantic relationship or a family relationship. You really want to make the person happy in that relationship. And to make them happy, it's not just, avoiding offending them. I don't want to offend my wife or somebody's boyfriend or girlfriend, or I don't want to offend my friends or maybe my parents or my coworkers or whatever it is. Well, I don't want to offend them. If we're running around all day going, well, let me just be careful not to offend them, let's make sure that I'm not making the relationship bad, then we'll never really make the relationship great. What about the inspirations in terms of those relationships? And well, you know what? I would really like to do something for my friend right now. They're suffering. They're struggling right now. And I feel this inspiration to, get them flowers, or, take them out for dinner, or to do something fun and special for them. Maybe do a favor for them. That's an inspiration, right? The same thing is true in terms of our relationship with God. Is if all we're focused on is, well, don't fall into temptations and don't give in to the temptations. Oh, just be careful not to offend God. If that's all I'm focused on, then I'm really not going to be building a really awesome relationship with God, with Jesus Christ, and responding to those gifts and fruits of the Holy Spirit, these inspirations of God to really build a deep relationship. What is God calling me to in terms of my prayer life? What's God calling me to in terms of my virtue and holiness, in terms of my health, in terms of my service to others, in terms of learning about my faith and understanding and knowing God more? And these are all going to be different for all of us, depending upon our state in life, what God's calling us to in terms of our vocations and all of that. But this would be what I would encourage all of us to do, myself, you, is to consider not only how am I being tempted and to avoid that, but what are the inspirations God is calling me to today? What's happening right now? If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing so that you can receive all kinds of Passionately Catholic content that we have to share in the future. May God bless you abundantly, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon.